Hi, this is I Explain. This is another I'll Explore where I will explore the exam system. To be more accurate, this is more like editorial notes and why I have somewhat different styles for the explanation despite all these exam mobile suits are relatively similar, and that how I sort of told the story of the exam system with all the blue destinies and then throw Efreet custom in the end where it is supposed to be the beginning. That is because, much like how I do it in Blue Destiny Unit 3, the truth is sort of the crux, the spoiler, the not quite a MacGuffin, but it is the black box inciting incident of the story. So if I reveal it earlier on, it would lose some of it would look like the narrative of the story will be lost. That's why I start with Blue Destiny Unit 1, talking about how it works, and then to Unit 2 where how the story develops, and then Unit 3 it's revealing the truth and its solution. And then we go back to Efreet custom to round out the story. The way I wrote Efreet custom, I could have put it out first or alongside Blue Destiny Unit 1, and it would actually be an excellent break between all the Gundams with the same torso, bodies, arms, and weapons. But it's also sort of break the flow. When I go from Unit 1 to Unit 2 to Unit 3, I can just go, oh, the little changes between Unit 2 and Unit 1, and then Unit 3 had almost zero changes. That's a smooth writing. Whereas if I slotted the Efreet custom in, it would be wildly different. I also left out Kajima and ribbons from the explanation because their characterization is vastly different from the original video game to the novel to the subsequent lore books to the Blue Destiny manga. While Dr. Chlust Moses also had the same thing happened, it is easier to argue that those are different aspects of him. Oh, also I call Dr. Chlust Moses Dr. Chlust because it is more unique. And sure, I can call him Dr. Moses, but that's sort of how they wrote it. But it would be easier for people to recognize, oh, this is Dr. Chlust Moses, not some real world Dr. Moses. Anyway, his story, because they are told from quite a few different perspectives, it's easier to combine all of them together. That's why in Blue Destiny Unit 3, I stand by that he adopted Marion out of his own goodness. Sure, he's pretty much a hateful maniac towards new type in general in most stories by the time we see him. since most story does have us as the Mammoth team and Yu Kajima, I would say he just suppressed his humanity in order to get revenge. As for Yu Kajima, he sort of started off as a silent protagonist for the player character. But as Blue Destiny got adopted or used in multiple media, it's sort of a gag that Yu Kajima does not talk or talks very little. That become his character over the years. And now Blue Destiny made some changes to that, which some people really hate. For me, it's kind of okay because we used to be an outside observer of him or being him. So it is possible that, some player did feel like that. So it is fine for Yu Kajima to have a lot more to say in his head in the manga. And again, I left him out from the narrative, not because he is not important, but the Mammoth team as a whole is why Yu Kajima can be like himself and then kind of fall in love with exam system / Marion. Which, spoiler, is pretty much what happened. I don't think it's pretty standard practice, to be honest. And Marion sort of, you can say, short end of the stick, but at the same time, there's nothing bad. Well, before we talk more, but overall, Marion's characterization was kept intact because she was represented as her digital copy most of the time. Now, it is arguable that Marion did experience things happened with the exam system due to being a new type and how her mind was connected to the exam system for a time, or even resides in the exam system for a time, or more scientifically interpretation would be she has some form of quantum entanglement. But those are, speculative theories, so that's okay. I also left out the parts where they find Marion, conscious, but it is, well, you can get a bad end and not find Marion and died, but I think it is more than enough to show that, Mammoth team or Yu Kajima find Marion and they can find peace through that after the war. There is the trivia that Yu Kajima was helping pushing Axis during the Charles counterattack. We probably left that to the Yu Kajima Jagan. Also, additional mention as for what mobile suit Marion used and if she ever ride on additional mobile suits, that wasn't visited often, but I do think they are digging into them after the Blue Destiny manga, the new series. As for Ribbons or Libonze, however you would like to Romanize his name, he got very, very, very wild characterization. That's why I mentioned Zeon having highly skilled pilots or high-functioning maniacs, because in some Ribbons it's pretty much just crazy but high-functioning enough that he can stay in the army. While in some interpretation he is a very honorable man. He thinks Marion's misfortune was the stemming from the suppression of the old types and Federation. That's why he used exam system to fight Federation. He would be subsequently taught a lesson that he was actually the one suppressing Marion. Now, there are some unfortunate depictions with his and Marion's relationship in some versions, and I don't think that's necessary. It is graphical, explorative, and somewhat realistic, but unnecessary for the story of the Blue Destiny. It's more than enough for a girl to have her mind trapped or copied or entangled into computers, and then some righteous douchebag just use that for his own personal vendetta. And these guys are not just here for background. I am going for some slight comparison. I didn't do this for the Unit 2 and Unit 3 set because I planned to do this here. You can see pretty much it's the same between 3 and 2, where they just have different color. Most of the mobile suit is the same, with the twin barrel beam cannons. You can tell it's just the backpack and the head. But I do want to point out how the ground type shield and the coffin shield conveyed. One is fighting on Earth and one is fighting in space. Now, the Mama team does fight on Earth with a coffin shield, but for Blue Destiny, it is quite important for their distinction. As for these two, I could have armed Blue Destiny Unit 2 with the hit swords for the Blue Destiny manga look, but because most of the design of the G-frame is from the original game or standard setup, so I think this is appropriate. Do note that Efreet is somewhat Gundam-like with the chest vents and more angular armor. So you can somewhat draw a strike line from every custom to the Blue Destinies. In fact, that is what Blue Destiny Unit 0. Now, Blue Destiny Unit 0's design does bridge the gap between the every custom and the Blue Destiny Unit 1 or standard Blue Destiny design, and I will do a video once Bandai decide to make a physical version of it. For now, we will just know that it exists. Oh, and for the hit swords, I call them hit swords to distinct them from the hit saber on Dome. They are still called hit saber in most sources, although sometimes would be referred to as hit swords in some games, or older games general, where they need different entries for different values. But in general, these are still hit sabers, just different. But I call them hit swords to make a distinction that they are not just long rods. The Blue Destiny actually have Unit 3 carry a lot more weapons, where they call it full armor, but it's more like full weapon, and it sort of look like how Efreet load itself out, which reinforced further how Blue Destiny is a hybrid between Federation Mobile Suit and Xeon Mobile Suit, with the pretext that Efreet is a very much Federation influenced mobile suit. I don't know if I can get to talk about that because Bandai wasn't really doing much about the MS-08 series. They had a lot of Efreet released, but they didn't quite go up and down with the precursors of Efreet or DOM. Like they do have the Goof C5 as Robotamashi. They do have the prototype DOM as Robotamashi and old kit. They do have the first prototype DOM in Gundam the Original XG, but that would be its own video. Either way, it would take a while for me to get to there, but even then, it wouldn't amend the point where it's starting to have chest fans, because that is a development from the YMS-08A or sometimes just YMS-08 high mobility test type, a mobile suit that is mostly exists in 2D form. Again, hoping Bandai will bring that out one day and we can close the circle, complete the circle, complete the links, so less missing links. I did said there will be a video about Blue Destiny being important in the RX, or rather Federation Gundam development down the road. That is still happening, but we need to talk about the result of that beforehand. As for now, this is my commentary of things that I couldn't put into my script when I talk about the Blue Destiny's Efreet Custom and exam systems. And I will surely bring Efreet back once I explain more about Goof. Thanks for watching.